And turning to Northwest News, a Senate committee approved a plan to make changes to the state's impaired driving laws, including making driving under the influence a felony on the 4th conviction, rather than on the current law that has it at 5 within 10 years. The measure approved today by the Senate Law and Justice Committee also would require a mandatory arrest if a person has a prior offense within the past decade, and increases mandatory minimum jail time for repeat offenders. The bill now heads to the Senate Ways and Means Committee. Lawmakers say that the bill is still a work in progress as discussions continue with House supporters. Governor Jay Inslee has said the measure is a priority during the special legislative session that started Monday. A judge ruled that a former worker convicted of time card fraud at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation will not receive any money from a government settlement. Carl Schroeder had worked for former Hanford contractor CH2M Hill Hanford Group. The company agreed in March to pay an $18.5 million civil and criminal penalty related to the time card scheme. Schroeder filed a whistleblower lawsuit against the company in June 2009. He also was one of 9 current or former employees to plead guilty to charges in the scheme. A federal judge dismissed Schroeder from the whistleblower lawsuit Monday. The judge said the law is clear that anyone convicted of criminal conduct could not receive any part of a settlement that resulted from the fraud. Justices on the Washington Supreme Court are considering whether a $100 million verdict against the state should be allowed to stand. The money was awarded to some 22,000 home care workers who were shortchanged by a state rule that was in effect from 2003 to 2007. Under the rule, workers who cared for low-income, severely disabled people automatically had their pay reduced by 15% if they lived with the person they cared for. The state Supreme Court struck down the rule in 2007, saying it was inconsistent with federal Medicaid rules, and the workers sued to get the money they said they were owed. A jury sided with the workers in 2011 and awarded $57 million, and a judge tacked on interest, bringing the total award to more than $100 million. A lawyer for the state asked the justices to reverse the verdict during arguments earlier today. Lawyers for the workers have filed a cross appeal. If you're making plans for a trip to see some history, maybe a trip to the cemetery could be for you.
Brooklyn, New York is fast becoming a trendy destination. But for over 175 years, people were dying to move there for a different reason.
We were pretty much the place to be buried at that time. The Irish gravitated here, as did many others.
That place is Greenwood Cemetery, located on almost 500 acres with a $1 million view of Manhattan. Greenwood first opened in 1838, and over time, the rolling hills have become a living museum of sorts.
I'm just fascinated about cemeteries when I can get to see them.
From the founder of Tiffany's jewelry store to the father of baseball, Greenwood has more than its share of the famous and infamous, including Bill the Butcher, the inspiration for Martin Scorsese's film The Gangs of New York.
We went and visited Leonard Bernstein, Louis Comfort Tiffany, and there are several other people here who I'd like to see, but I just don't have the strength.
We're standing on historic maps.
To celebrate its milestone anniversary, Greenwood is opening an exhibit at the Museum of the City of New York. The highlight? A map built into the floor showing where many of the cemetery's notable residents are buried.
The history of the country and the world can be told right through Greenwood's history.
Greenwood estimates it has 5 to 10 years of space left for permanent residents. But you can always visit the cemetery for free. Joseph Frederick, Associated Press, New York.
Well, I'd like to see John F. Kennedy's grave there at Arlington. That's going to do it for us here at iFIBER 1 News. I want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.